In July of this year, Leigh introduced you to the Nikon Z 85mm f1.8s lens. It was an announcement. We didn't have one in our hands yet. Now, we've got one in our hands as a loaner. Our main takeaway with this lens so far is A, it does what it's supposed to do, and B, it fits right in with the other Z lenses that we have, meaning it delivers on quality and performance. At first, you might say we were a little disappointed that Nikon didn't quickly come to the table with f1.4 lenses or even wider apertures for the Z system. Now, this is aside from the f.95 Noct lens that's now officially on the roadmap. In the f-mount world, f1.4 lenses were the kings, and they were the most expensive lenses. The f1.8 lenses were the budget alternative with some compromises. What we've seen with all of our Z lenses, including this 85mm, is sharpness across the frame, fast and silent autofocus, and they're all fairly compact given their parameters and specifications. Okay, I've got to interrupt myself for one thing. We've got a great member show that goes along with the ring light. It goes along with the 85mm Nikon review, the 85mm f1.4 Sony lens review. We even use that Sony lens on a Nikon Z system camera with the TechArt adapter. We show you up close, in depth, at the images that we took of Leigh with the ring light. We're going to show you our respective edits of those images and a ton of those images and the results as well. We're going to talk through that editing process. So if you're a member, tune in for that, link down below. If you're not a member, check out that join button for content behind the scenes for this stuff, and then also all the other stuff that we've made available for members as well. You might even say this review is a bit uneventful, maybe a little boring. Why? There's no quirks or funny compromises here. I don't need to tell you to avoid shooting it wide open if you're wanting to pixel peep. It's dust and moisture sealed. It has the configurable barrel ring, which I like to use for aperture control rather than focus. It's so much like our 35mm f1.8 that I need to do a quick double check with the camera before I walk out the door to make sure that I've got the lens on the camera that I intended. I know some of you are interested in this, so we did some light comparisons to the 85mm f1.8 f-mount lens on the Z7 using the FTZ adapter. Ultimately, we like to use the lenses designed specifically for the Z system, so we're not going to do like an in-depth multi-video comparison, and we've always been impressed with the f-mount version in general, so really no complaints there either. They both work great. Now, with the Z system, you do have advantages. You've got the linear focus motors, you've got a silent operation, edge-to-edge sharpness. Maybe it's because of the size of the mount, maybe it's because of the engineering of the lens, maybe it's both. That alone gives the Z-mount version the advantage for us. You've got the Z-mount lens on the Z-mount camera. They're made to work together. Let's take a closer look at some of the images. We worked inside and outside while also showing off this ring light we've been working with. More on the ring light in another video later this week. Even in the dark setting with the ring light really close to Leigh, could easily get focus, either going old school with single point autofocus or with the face and eye detection. With the lens opening to f1.8, you've got a lot of light for the camera to work with, even if you're not using external lighting and if you're in fairly dark conditions. And the Z7 with this 85mm didn't have any problems. In fact, the combination of the Z7's color rendering with the lens's own shallow depth of field effects make everything flow nicely together here. A wonderful subject, never hurts either. Back here in the studio for product photos, again, no issues. It's just what we've come to expect from the Z system. No quirks or weird compromises. You're shopping for the focal length here and for the aperture. Everything else just works. I feel almost apologetic that we're not going further in depth. I'm just not sure what else there is to say. If you're into the Z series and you're putting together your bag of primes, this certainly belongs there. If you want to focus specifically on portraits, then this is the Z series lens to get as far as I'm concerned. In fact, it's really the only portrait lens in the lineup so far. We've put a link in the description below so you can check out current pricing, the Amazon reviews. We are Amazon affiliates, so even when you use that link, even if you're not interested in buying the lens, it helps our site out just a little bit. Now ask your Z questions down below, whether it's about the 85mm lens or 35mm, the 14 to 30 ultra wide, and we do have both of the 24 to 70 Z lenses, the f4 and the larger f2.8 version. We're very happy with the Z system overall. It's in its early phase in lens selection choices, and we are expecting great things to come from Nikon. maybe an 85mm f1.4 in the future, or maybe even wider apertures than that. We've heard that the mount can support well beyond or well more favorable than f1.4. We'll have to see what happens. Thanks everybody, and let us know your questions down in the comments below.